Shalom. First off, I'm going to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahawah Chakradash. I'm going to give double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS who have taught us this word and teach us this word today. And I want to give a salutation unto the elect of the nation of Israel. This is the brother Yatazak Ba with the GMS Nebraska camp. This is GMS Endeavor. And in this lesson, what I want to go into is really going into the topic of reparations. I was listening to this Edomite Charlie Kirk have an argument about reparations, and he was basically saying that he used the term blacks, but this conversation should really be about the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. This should be about the Israelites that have suffered from the evils of Esau and the hatred that Esau has carried out upon us. He was basically making the argument that reparations shouldn't be paid because in the society we live in today, blacks are pandered to. He says that it's easier for blacks to get a job than other races. We see, and I'm gonna say blacks because that's what he used. I'm really say Jake. He basically said we see Jake on commercials. We see Jake all over TV. We basically see Jake pander to, where they're basically on equal footing as us now, and that's not the case. He's making it seem as though the fact that we can go and get a job, or the fact that we can quote unquote be a success in this world today is suffice for the evils that was done against us, for the fact that Esau used us for free labor for hundreds of years, as well as murdering us by the hundreds of thousands and the millions by completely messing over our nation. And the fact that we can go and get a job where most of the money that we make at that job goes right back to Esau suffices for the things that were done against us. The fact that we're so many years past slavery now, we need to get over it. That was in the past. We're past that. Now look at where we're at. Now you can go and make something of yourself. You just need to go pull yourself up by the bootstraps. That's how Esau is. But at the end of the day, let's read this precept, and we're gonna get into it. This is Luke chapter 16 verse 19, which says, "There was a certain rich man which was clothed in purple and fine linen, and fared sumptuously every day." Now this rich man represents Esau, the elites of Esau. It says that he was clothed in purple and fine linen, which represents royalty, represents Esau being on top. He's living lavish. The scriptures say that the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. Back in the book of Genesis, it shows you how Esau received the blessing of the fatness of the earth and the dew of heaven. Jacob received that blessing as well, but we're in the time that the fatness of the earth and the dew of heaven is given into the hand of Esau. This is his time to rule. This is his kingdom. So it says that there was a certain rich man which was clothed in purple and fine linen, and fared sumptuously every day. And there was a certain beggar named Lazarus, which was laid at his gate full of sores. So who's that beggar represent? Lazarus. That represents our nation, the Israelites, the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. We are at the lowest of the low. Esau would have you to believe that we are, catered toward, that we are, set on a pedestal in this society, when he knows damn well that that's not true. The scriptures say, roughly paraphrasing, that Esau isn't as in trouble as other men. When you look at the court system, for example, an Israelite can do a crime, and an Edomite can do the same crime, and who gets the book thrown at him? Jake does. When Esau can either walk or get the minimal sentence, that right there shows what the truth of this place. The fact that you can take our nation, do all sorts of atrocities to them, use them for free labor for hundreds of years, and now slavery has been over for the amount of time has been over, and you can say, okay, now we're good, we're on equal playing field. That doesn't add up. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. So we are that beggar. Why? Because we have to go to Esau for everything. If we want to get a job, we got to work where Esau what he owns. If we want to get paid, if we want to get a house or an apartment, we have to pay the rent and the bills to what Esau owns. This isn't this. We don't own anything. All this belongs to Esau, and we just we're just renting it. We're just using it. If we want to go to the store and get something, who are we buying it from? We're buying it from Esau because he owns all of this. That's why he is that rich man, because the earth is given into his hand. And even when you got the low-level Edomites, that's not the elites, they not owning the society like the elites of Esau is, but this is still, their kingdom. Their people is ruling, not ours. We're at the lowest. We're still under the curses. We're still going through, our punishment. So we're nowhere near a place to where, you can say, the conversation for reparations should be thrown out the window when, and I'm jumping the gun, I want to get to it later on in the lesson, but we don't even want the reparations that Esau could give to us on this side. Because what do they speak about with the conversation of reparations? They say, well, each of them should just get a certain lump sum of money, or each of them should just get some sort of some land, or nothing that you could offer us would suffice, because the land that we will be on, the earth is given into your hand. That's not really our land. If you want to come and boot us off that land, you could do that right then and there like that. Or if you want to give us some money, that's not really our money. That money gonna go right back to you. Even the jakes that have some level of success, some level of stardom or fame, that's making the millions of dollars, that call themselves billionaires. When we read on, it says what? And desiring to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table. At the end of the day, them millions of dollars, that's crumbs compared to what Esau, the elites of Esau has. This earth is given to Shalaki. The video got interrupted, but as I was saying, them millions of dollars ain't nothing to compare to, what has been given into the hands of Esau in this time. You look at Kanye, for example, where he's call himself a billionaire. He owned his shoe label and all of that. As soon as Kanye said something that Esau didn't like, they took his money like that. Them is crumbs. These jobs that we own ain't nothing. We're still slaves. And you try to say that this isn't a place of reparations. This is enough, or this is a good payment back for the evils that was done against us. We just need to forget what happened because we're in a better position now. What better position? We're still under your rulership. We're still under your ownership. Even if Jake want to become some type of star athlete, some type of actor, some type of musician, and make big money or do these different things, at the end of the day, they have to do it under your rule. They have to sign a contract, to you. So let's read on. It says, and desiring to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table. Moreover, the dogs came and licked his sores. So who is those dogs representative of? That's representative of the heathen. And how are they licking our sores? Because while we are at the lowest of the low, in the ghettos, in the poorest position of any people on this earth, the heathen are taking advantage of it. They come right into our neighborhoods and set up their shops and make money off of our people, selling our people that poison, selling our women that fake hair. You see heathen running these different shops. You see them Ishmaelites are running them different corner stores, or Moabites running them different hair salons and all that. So at the end of the day, while Esau is the one truly eating, we're getting the crumbs from his plate. We're getting the scraps. And Esau with his forked tongue is acting like that's enough. But at the end of the day, hey, as the scriptures say, our reparations are going to be a righteous repayment. Let's get Revelation real fast. This is Revelation chapter 8. This is Revelation chapter 18, verse 6. It says, "Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her, double according to her works. And the cup which she had filled to her double." So all the atrocities that was done to our people, where Esau would tear open our pregnant women's stomachs and take the children out for alligator bait, with our families being broken up, with our people getting worked until they would drop dead, and then just sub them in sub somebody in place of them, where you took the Gad's land, you took Reuben's land, and then act like this place was yours, and then gave them a little plot of land called a reservation, and they just supposed to be happy with that. Same with Issachar and the Latin tribes. They caught it just as hard as the southern kingdom did. They got lynched as well. They got evils brought against them as well by the conquistadors. These evils isn't just what people don't understand is that Esau touched the apple of the Lord's eye. We are the true descendants of the Israelites. We are the Lord's children. And so when you come against us and do these different things, this isn't just another act of slavery. That's another argument that they try to make. They say that everybody under in the planet has gone through slavery at one point or another. Even if you want to bring up that argument, you touch the apple of the Lord's eye. So now that the what you did to us is going to happen to you, and double. Because Esau went overboard with it. Esau exercised his hatred against us. And let's grab Ezekiel chapter 35, verse 6, which says, "Therefore as I live, saith the Lord Yahweh, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Sit thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee." These are the reparations that we're looking for. As the scriptures say, happy shall he be that dasheth thy little ones against the stones. Because that's the type of stuff y'all did to us. That's what we want to see. We don't want y'all money. We don't want y'all to give us no land. Nah, that's we still going through our hell. We still captive to you. We still slaves to you. That's not reparations. That's not repayment for the evils that's been done against us. We won't truly get that repayment until we in our kingdom and y'all is in fetters of iron. Let's grab that. Nobles and chains. Let's get Psalm chapter 149 and verse 5. It says, "Let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud upon their beds." The saints are the Israelites. It says, "Let the high praises of the Most High be in their mouth, and a two-edged sword in their hand." Now this is speaking about when we're in our kingdom. It says that we're going to have a sword in our hand. For what? It says to execute vengeance upon the heathen and punishments upon the people, to bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron, to execute upon them the judgment written. Once that judgment that's written is executed among y'all, that's going to be reparations. That's going to be a repayment for the evils that's been done against us. The same way that we was in chains and we had to work day in and day out, y'all going to have to do the same thing. Y'all going to have to live y'all life in terror. Y'all going to have to amuse us. Y'all going to have to be at the bottom. We're going to get Obadiah chapter 1 verse 15, which says, "For the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head." Right. So as it's saying, this is the judgment that's written. As Esau did to us, it's going to be done unto them. They have to serve a recompense for what they have done. And it says, for as ye have drunk upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathen drink continually. So, you know, when we are in our kingdom, the Israelites are going to be on top. We are going to be restored into our glory, in perfect bodies as gods amongst all these heathen. And all the heathen are going to be under captivity to us. But this is, Esau is going to get in a very special judgment. And we're about to read what's going to happen to Esau. But it's saying, they have drunk upon the Lord's mountain. Everything that Esau has been able to amass in this country, America, it was built on the back of Jake. And they think that these measly, rewards that Jake is given in this time is, enough to make up for, us establishing this country. When this place wouldn't be in the state that it's in without what they did to us. So as the scriptures say, y'all gonna have to build up our walls. We gonna put y'all to work. But let's read on. It says, so shall all the heathen drink continually, yea, they shall drink, and they shall swallow down, and they shall be as though they had not been. But upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance, and there shall be holiness, and the house of Jacob shall possess their possessions, right? Because there's going to come a time where we are going to we are going to possess our land. Hey, you got Edomites over in our land right now. Y'all talking about reparations, giving us money. Y'all could have, reparations could at least be talking about, all right, hey, we'll leave y'all land, y'all could come back. But they would never do that. Why? Because they want to hide that we're the true people, and they want to continue to set themselves up as if they are the Israelites, as if they are the Lord's children. This is showing you Esau's mindset. We ain't gonna give y'all inheritance back. We ain't gonna tell y'all true heritage, but we will give y'all some money. This why they got to be taken down, because they wicked, man. But we gonna possess our possessions. We're gonna get our land back. We're gonna be on top. The fatness of the earth and the dew of heaven is gonna be in our hands. It says, and the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them and devour them. So stubble is like what starts a fire. It is basically saying that we're gonna gather Esau in a pit, and we're gonna burn them up. The scriptures speak about in Revelation, I believe, chapter 20, the first 1,000 years of our kingdom. For the first 1,000 years, all the heathen, including Esau, is gonna be under our rulership. And at the end of those 1,000 years, the heathen outside of the Edomites, they're going to be able to govern themselves with a little bit more freedom. They're still going to be under our rulership, but the burden would be eased off of them a bit. But when it comes to Esau, at the end of those 1,000 years, they're going to be rooted out of this earth. They're going to be burnt to a crisp. They're going to be destroyed. There will be no more Edomites on the planet at the end of those 1,000 years. It says it right here. It says, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord had spoken it. And that's going to come by the hand of who? By the hand of the nation of Israel, underneath Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. These are the reparations we looking for. We don't want, this guy Charlie Kirk and more Edomites making the argument that we don't deserve no reparations. We already in a position, whatever. We ain't even looking for what y'all saying that we supposed to be getting in this town. We gonna get even more, and it's gonna be beautiful. I want to see Charlie Kirk's face in the kingdom when he is serving slavery underneath us. I want him to eat those words, that prideful these prideful statements that he be making against Jake. I can't wait to see it. But hey, Lord's will, this lesson was edifying. Once again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahawah Kodash. I want to give double honors to the apostles, the elders of GMS, and a salutation unto the elect. Shalom.